Right, let's see if I can get. Right. Right, ready. Need to clean this up anyway. Look, I've got some things in here that shouldn't have things in here. All right, let's wait for somebody to say hello before we kick off. Mr. Bliss, what a shadow! What are Windows shadows? So shadow copies are basically snapshots that Windows makes of your files in real time, so that if you get any corruption or crashes or etc., it can restore them. But I've been getting these a lot. I'm kind of running out of disk space as well at times, so these are a lot bigger than they should be. And I'm wondering, I'm not bothered about the extra I/O that shadow copies generate. I'm more concerned with the amount of CPU cycles to do that I/O that I'm concerned with. So I'm wondering whether to turn it off. So normally I only have shadow copies enabled for each environment that I've got on the C drive, on the system drive. So protection on for that one and all the other ones off. So it's not taking snapshots of all the other drives. It's only taking snapshots of the local C drive. But I'm running Windows on that C drive and I'm running the games on that C drive. So, and I'm always getting this as well. Whenever I have to clean up invalid devices, that I need to clean up generic shadow volume copies. So I'm wondering whether I should turn it off. This is different to a system restore point. I mean, if I created pre-shadow off something, if I create a restore point, that's different. That's like a snapshot of the entire system at a fixed point. Yeah, I don't know whether you need these though to create fast restore point, because these are all incremental. They're basically looking at changes. What's changed since the last time we backed up? Okay, let's save that change. It's not backing up literally everything, which is why that was so fast. When I just did a create a restore point. So I'm wondering if I turn off the system protection, the shadow copies, whether or not it turns off restore points as well. I don't know. Should we do some playing around and have a look? And I want to see what effect it has on games. So at the moment, I'm gonna leave these alone, and I'm gonna see. Then I'm gonna run a normal benchmark, and then I'm gonna turn these off, and then run the benchmark again. If it does break restore points, then that's a problem, obviously. But there is a service you can use. You can turn it off with as well. Oh, what's this? Oh, I'm trying to remember what service it is. It's the volume shadow service or something. I think it's Windows shadow copy, volume shadow copy service. I think with a V. No. There we go. So it's that. So and it's on set to manual and it's currently running. So in theory, I could pause it to stop it and then keep the functionality on and then put it back on again when I want restore points. Mr. Tucker. How you doing, Mike? Hey, Zappo. So, yeah, I'm worried if it does break restore points. But, I mean, if it doesn't make any difference to the performance one way or the other, I might as well just leave it running. So I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm curious whether we could get like if it's running and we get like a blip or something. So let's try it quickly. Let's have a quick go. So we're going to leave it running for now. We can clean up all these old things. Should be fine. Okay. Do a quick scan as well. This is expired. I need to put my key in. Okay. All right. So let's just reboot after they've been cleaned up. Then we'll run a benchmark on the shadow copies on and off. What's your voltage for 5.0 cores? I'm on 5.9, and I don't set a flat volt. I don't touch it. I'm letting the microcode manage it. Yeah, it doesn't normally get, the VIDs don't normally go more than about 1.4 on 5.9. See, this is back as well. I don't know what this bug is, but as soon as you log in, it will sit here for an entire 60 seconds before it goes to the desktop. I can't work out. I've tried startup profilers. I've tried everything, and it doesn't affect the other two. The only way I found to get rid of this is to reinstall Windows, and I don't know why it does it. It started doing it. It started doing it when I the other day took out the GPU the DisplayPort cable from my GPU so I could stream my BIOS. It started doing it then, and I can't get rid of that. Yeah, lots of changes after 71. Right. Okay. So let's start up this. And this. It's fine now after that 60 seconds of freezing. It could have been when I accidentally changed the number of cores and it's looking for the cores and trying to register Windows version. Could be that. .375. Yeah, it might be okay. 5.8, maybe. So I don't know why it's not showing my speeds right now. Because they all changed, didn't they? This is the problem with that. Let's have a look. Resync perfmon. And then let's put these back on again. CPU max. We want max. CPU megahertz is what we want. Where's that? Where's that? Voltages. Where is it? I'll only give the cores. I don't want the cores. There we go. CPU mix. What was the other one we needed to apply? Yeah, look, I'm running 5.9. Do you still do CPU core parking? Well, you tell me, look. Does that look like any cores are parked? Are any of them grey? I don't think so. Better fill you in on the results later, alright? Alright, John. Have a good one, mate. Catch you later. Right. No parking. Parking is bad. Alright, so let's run this replay. I need to have a look at this. Get a time slice. Where do we want to be? Be here-ish. When is this? Where's this? I think I die here, don't I? I die in a minute. I want to be back. So when's this? Make sure we get this bit. What time is this? What time is this? 22. So 3 minutes before 22 is... Oh wait, I'm actually dead here. That's why it's not me. Am I dead? Yeah, I die here. So let's say 20 minutes, so 17. What's 17 times 60, guys? What's 17 times 60? Hey Siri, what's 17 times 60? 1,020. Okay, let's just go 1,000. Okay, or we can make it even easier. Let's just do no. Now we can whack that in nice and easy. Right. Am I dead right now? What's going on? Oh, see, that's not me. I'm... Gonna do it. 111. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? 111. Right, so we're gonna need to run that and that and run it through.
Capture started.
What's going on with this? What's that about? What? I think that's bugged. Testing game rates. First score was without hyperthreading and disable E-cores. Emulate your CPU for best performance. Yeah, you pretty much have to turn off half of the cores to get the best performance because it seems that, well, the more cores you run, the more voltage you're running through the entire CPU, and the hotter it gets, and you're going to share that share that power throughout. So I found not turning off all the E-cores. I found turning off half of the E-cores and all of the hyperthreading is best for me. So that's basically halving it. Halving the E-cores, halving the total cores. I mean, I could probably, if I probably went lower to 4 E-cores instead of 8, I could probably maintain a stable 5.9 down there. But when I originally tested, 8 cores was the kind of, 8 E-cores was perfect. Best one, but then 4 E-cores really got worse, and then 0 E-cores got a lot worse. So I'd like to be able to maintain 5.9 in a game, but the new microcode is just basically saying no. We're going to need to run this through twice, because the first time will be shader cache. I'm running unlimited as well at the moment, 680 FPS, 700-ish. That's normally capped, but I'm trying to stress the system as much as possible. Right, this is the live capture. Ready? Go.
Capture started.
Hello. How's it going, mate? Currently testing whether to turn off shadow volumes for my C drive. Whether or not it's taking snapshots of changed files real time while we're playing. Debating whether that's... I'm not worried about whether or not that's going to impact the disk utilization, the I/O input-output. I'm worried about whether or not the associated CPU cycles in order to do that I/O is making any FPS impact. So we're gonna turn it off and see. But if it breaks system restore, then you need system restore points. So we might have to find a way of temporarily disabling it if it does make a difference. If it doesn't make a difference, we're just gonna leave it. You do get some random stutters sometimes, but no crashes. I'm glad you're not getting crashes now. That's really good. But yeah, the stuttering... I mean, as I say, running OBS and running any music in the background, or running any webcams in the background, they're the three major ones that can impact your FPS. Didn't have the game for 14 hours straight. You did. You had the game open for 14 hours straight. That's good. Yeah, I'm doing an early stream just because if I do technical benchmarking, I normally do a restream, and so I can stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And then once I've done all the kind of benchmarking stuff, I normally turn off YouTube and then just do Fortnite play on Twitch. Because the YouTubers typically aren't interested in my Fortnite gameplay. So. Right, so let's have a look, see what that looks like. So this is with what's the best way to describe this? What's the best way to describe this? Shadow copy on. Shadow copies on. What does that look like? That looks really smooth. Like that. Nothing, no big spikes in frame times. Under 10. I mean, 10's really smooth. Yeah, 0.2 stuttering, that's fine. Normally anything under 0.3% stuttering, you're setting your FPS. I mean, I've got unlimited as well, so that's really good for unlimited. If I limited this, if I actually limited the FPS to 360, that would be a rock solid line, an absolute rock solid line. So that's that amount of stuttering is really good. Yeah, that is immediately downclocking. Immediately downclocking, which is annoying. For 5.9, that's purely controlled by the microcode. I mean, I could go back to an older microcode, but then you don't have the... I'd like my CPU to live for like at least 5 years, not 5 weeks. Well, still good performance. The performance is great, but it's annoying that it's doing that. I need to find a way of fixing that. If I do any kind of undervolting or even overvolting, it becomes unstable. If I do an overvolt, right, try and stop the Vmax kicking in with the microcode, this will go down to 5.6, even though I'm giving it more voltage. So if I do any kind of undervolt, then it won't pass a wide cruncher test. Won't pass it. Just not stable anymore. My motherboard and CPU do not like undervolting at all. Right. Anyway, let's now turn it off, see if it makes any difference at all. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to stop the service as opposed to disabling it in... So there's two ways of doing this. We can either stop the service or we can actually stop the protection. It might not let me stop the service while the protection's active, actually. But basically system protection, you find your drive, your C drive, and you just basically turn it off. You can just disable it. So that's how you would not do it normally. But I'm wondering whether it would be easier just to temporarily stop the service to see if it makes any difference. V for volume shadow copy. See that? That's currently set to manual and it's currently running. So can we stop it? Or is it going to auto restart it again? I'm going to watch for a minute, just in case it restarts it on its own. No, that looks good. It's not restarting. Keep refreshing. No, it's not restarting on its own. Okay, so let's rerun it now and have a look. So that's on, but I've stopped the service. Okay, so let's try it. Let's go back to our normal timestamp. Here. Ready, steady, go.
Capture started.
Abu, I mean, it depends. It depends. I would, if you're going to get, I'd benchmark both of them. I'd then, while you're benchmarking, I'd run HW Info 64, and I'd look at the temperatures you're getting for your CPU, your package max, while you're running the test. If one's higher than the other, and also run Y Cruncher and just double check that you're not getting any errors for both of them. That's how I test. So, sum up from yesterday, I ran 32 games yesterday, straight, and I was running Fortnite Game EXE as high priority. I was forcing it in the registry through Processor C. And I got no crashes whatsoever, completely smooth gameplay all day. I did the same on Chip's PC, and he started getting crashes within about 20 minutes. I did the same on Rapper's PC, and he started getting frame FPS drops almost immediately. So we put it all back to normal priority, and they've been fine since. So I think it's very game specific. Sorry, hardware specific, whether you can get away with running high priority or not. Depends what else is running on your system, because priority is all about kind of relative positions. You make one thing high, and if something else was high before, kind of part of the system that needed high, but now is not as high priority against the game, it can cause instability. So I think it depends what else is on your system. Should I put yours on normal, because I do get random drops? Yeah, try it. Go back to normal. So all you have to do is go into. Wait, is this running? Or is this finished? All you have to do is go back into Processor C. Go in here, search for Fortnite. Let me make this a bit smaller so people can see, with my big head being in the way. Oh yeah. Find this one. And yeah, all you have to do is right click, CPU priority, always, and do none. That will put it back to normal. So I'm on my main gaming environments, I'm running high and I'm running Enforce with Windows Registry. So it's this one, it's the Fortnite client Win64 shipping.exe. Look, the one that's taking up all the CPU cycles. All the others aren't really doing anything. Yeah, it's this one, the client one. But that is an EXE, so kind of said two things in the same thing. So the same. Yeah, yeah. That one. The one with the big CPU average while you're running it. So at the moment, in this environment, I'm running it as normal. But my main gaming environment, where I've been testing high all of yesterday, that was fine. And it does give slightly better results as well. Right. Anyway, what was I just doing? Oh yeah, I was looking at the results. Oh, we're only recording like 2 minutes or something. That seemed very quick. Yeah, we're only doing 2 minutes. So this is Shadow Copies off. Drum roll, please. Do I have a drum roll? I've got one of them. It's not really a drum roll, is it? There we go. So it made no difference at all. Made no difference. If anything, it was slightly worse performance, but you typically do get that on the second run because the computer's been sitting there running max FPS for a little bit and it's kind of warmed up a bit. And so, yeah, okay. So we don't need to touch that. I thought, yeah, it did until your processor SU15 came out. Now you can do this. CPU priority always, set it high, and then enforce with Windows registry. Now it gets around the EAC stuff, and it still works. So since processor SU15, including the free version, I know I've got the pro version, but including the free version, you can now set the priority and enforce it by Windows registry, and then restart the game, and it'll be running as high. I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go above high. Might actually try above normal. Definitely do not do real time. You will get blue screens of death for any game. Never do that. High you can probably get away with. Above normal you can almost certainly get away with. But yeah, so you just basically set it to high and then do the enforce by Windows registry. Very useful. We love processor SU. Yeah, so that was interesting. It's not running again, is it? No, it's not running again. Right. We can run it. Okay, I ruled something out. Even if something's not better or worse or the same, we've looked at it. We know. So not a bad thing ruling stuff out. But that's, I mean, it doesn't actually do that much I/O. Fortnite. If you actually look at what it's doing, have I got Process Explorer on here? I think I should have Process Explorer on it. Process Explorer. Download that. As administrator, please extract all. Run that as administrator. Right. So we look at Process Explorer, which is like a souped up task manager, right? And we actually add a few columns here. Oh no, I've already added them. The context switching, delta, CPU cycles, delta, and page files using page file delta. If we actually have a look at Fortnite, you can see how much I/O it's doing. Where are you, young man? One of the big ones. Where are you? We got a. That's not what I want to do. I just want to filter on this. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. We can have a look at how much it's doing. If we double click it and we have a look at performance, you can see how much I/O it's doing. You can see how much CPU it's using. How many cycles? Look how many cycles that is. It's not actually write delta 4, 3, read delta 450 odd. It's not doing millions and millions of reads and writes. It's writing to log files a little bit, and it's reading at the moment from this replay file that I've got it paused in. But generally speaking, it doesn't do much I/O, which is I wasn't bothered about the shadow copies using more I/O and causing a bottleneck there. I was more concerned about the number of CPU cycles it was using up to do that additional I/O. Yeah, what was the other thing I was going to show you? Oh, yeah. Another thing, by the way, just as an aside, you can actually set the I/O priority as well in the free copy now of Processor Soup. So not only can we set this to always high like this, and then enforced by registry, you can also do I/O priority always high as well. You can set that now in the free version. The update the other day lets you set it in the free version. This is kind of cool. So you can run high priority and you can run high I/O. Hey, Craig. How detrimental is it on my performance if I overclocked my P cores to 58 but didn't touch any values for E cores or anything voltage related? Overclocked. So what CPU have you got, Free Band Lord? Trouble with the new microcode is pretty much overclocking for Intel is dead now. You can't do it. You have to basically tune your CPU to get the performance that was promised by Intel in the first place. You have to kind of, yeah. So I think you should be running like 5.7s for that. I mean, you can try, but I think the new if you're running a BIOS with the new 12B BIOS with the microcode, I don't think it's going to let you. As I say, mine's running at 5.9, but look, it's actually only getting 5.8 when in game. So it will get 5.9 on the desktop. As soon as I put some load on the system, it goes down to 5.8 because the microcode's just saying no. Computer says no. So if I start up hardware info right now, don't really want that and hardware info running at the same time. Turn that off. Hardware info. There we go. Answers only. So this is sitting in the background, Fortnite running unlimited FPS, by the way, right now. Now you can see I'm running 5.8 and I'm running 1.392, 1.4-ish. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to do it. If I go back to the desktop, this will go up to 5.9s. And this does, when I'm playing, it does flick between 5.8 and 5.9. It's only because I'm running unlimited. I mean, normally I'd be running RTSS and I'd be setting the frame rate limit. So now it should say 360 in here. Well, you can't see because I don't have an FPS limit up, but it's running 360 now. And normally I'm flicking between 5.8 and 5.9 while I'm playing. I've tried everything. I've tried low line calibration. I've tried different AC/DC load lines. I've tried overvolting. Just the microcode is stopping you doing a load of that stuff now. I normally sit on the desktop about 1.4. But performance-wise, Cinebench has never been so high. Y-Crunch has never been so high. PY Prime's never been so high. So even though it's downclocking, I'm actually getting better results than I've ever got. So ultimately, that's what you want. You want the better results. I mean, what am I sitting at the moment? 64 degrees centigrade. Could do with opening the window a bit wider, I think. 62, 64. Power-wise, what are we drawing power-wise right now? So I've got my power limits set to 320. And I've got, it's currently drawing 200 watts CPU to run at 360 FPS and 150 amps. But if I actually look, close this, I actually look at this throttle stop, and I see what the limit reason is right now. Voltage max. It's the 5.769. It's the microcode. That's the microcode doing that. So I either go back to a previous microcode and risk more instability, or I just put up with it and get the most I can get out of it. Close to upgrading my GPU, but I don't know if I should wait for 5070. I don't know. That's going to be a bit of a wait cry. Depends what you play as well. Depends what games you're playing. If you're playing GPU-bound games, I mean, depends what you're playing. Obviously, if you're playing a CPU-bound game, then it's not going to make any difference if you upgrade to GPU. Oh, you're mostly GPU-bound. 2060 Super. What does the red EDP other mean? It's another voltage restriction, I think. Electrical design something. If I close that, minimize that, and we go back to hardware info. Give us more info. Yeah, let me put this back on again. The EDP. I'm sure it's electrical design something. Something like electrical design point. Yeah, the electrical design point. It's that. So it's the ICC Max, power level 4, SVID. It was, yeah, it's probably limiting the voltage. DDR RIPL. It's certainly not hitting any power limits. Well, that's PL4. I don't. You can't set PL4 in the BIOS. So it's probably, yeah, it's just a power limit. Again, controlled by the microcode, the Intel microcode, which you can't mess with. So yeah, it drives me nuts though. That why this isn't. I'd rather have a bit more voltage and stick at 5.9, and that's how it used to be before I updated to the microcodes. But the performance is better. So, well, I don't know what to do. Depends on discounts on new GPUs. Good luck with that. If you're playing a premium just to be able to get hold of one. Okay. So I think we've covered the shadow copy stuff. Relatively happy with that. And anything else we want to test? Should we restart Fortnite and show you the difference between high and normal? So that was normal we just ran. All right, let's turn that off again. Go back to 0. So unlimited FPS. So now if I restart Fortnite, it should run it as high. Keep an eye on this. There we go. See, it's running as high now. Alert. We re-benchmark this now. 4070 Super's been out for ages though. Right. You're going to have to wait for the 5070 to come out. Then you're going to have to wait for the price drops. You're looking at least a year. Seems a long time to me. I'm going to rename this to bench. What was it? 111. We remember where to start it. Wait, are we not running? We're not running Capture Mix. T for time. Go to there. Ready, steady, go.
Capture started.
My game is super smooth at the moment though. At 360. Even in this rubbish map that's just not optimized, it's still super smooth. Yeah, that might be nice, Jake. Yeah, that might be nice. Oh, I don't know about sitting outside. They'll be busy outside, I suspect. I suspect it'll be busy outside the little cafe. Gigabyte. 30 seconds left. So we're comparing normal priority and high priority right now. So at the moment, I'm using the Alienware 360 24 inch, but we're all waiting checking on a day by day basis for the new Nvidia Pulsar monitor from Asus, from ROG, because that's going to be a total game changer. I'm waiting. It's going to be coming out before the end of the year, and me and Ship and Rapper and other people are checking daily for it to be released. But it's going to be about €1,000, $1,000, £1,000. It's going to be expensive. Oh, I didn't want to go. Yeah, don't guilt trip him. He'll more likely not to go for guilt trip him. So this is high priority. So we should be able to compare it to what we ran before. There we go. So high priority versus normal priority. So saying that, normal priority was a bit smoother and normal priority had a bit better lows, but yeah, you're getting more average FPS with high priority than you are with normal priority. Got a nasty blip there though. To run that again. So it should have been actually a bit better. If that blip wasn't there, it would have been better. But you are getting more FPS with high priority. Right. So I think YouTube's bored because there's only 2 people watching on YouTube. So I might just go and play some games. Intel APO. So yeah, let me show you the latest. Well, what's happened is Intel initially released Fortnite on the list. Then I installed it and it wasn't there. Then I assumed that we needed new HTT drivers to actually get the new games on the list. So I contacted Intel and the motherboard manufacturer, because the motherboard manufacturer provides the drivers. You don't actually need that APO UI, the app running. You don't even need that. It does it through the drivers. It optimizes it just through the drivers. So I contacted Intel, I contacted MSI, and MSI went, it should work, even though they haven't updated it since kind of February. And why would it work? So they obviously don't understand how their own thing works. Paul contacted Asus motherboards and they said, here are the beta drivers we're working on. Try these. So he's actually got some beta drivers. So at least Asus kind of understand the problem. But then 6 days later after I contacted Intel and they keep making me send them my specs, even though I've said, where's Fortnite? It's disappeared off the list. So yeah, 5 days later on that article with the supported games, they took it off. So I don't know whether that's deliberate, accidental that it went on the list in the first place, whether they've got a bug with it and they've taken it off. So I've been asking Intel, like, what's happened to Fortnite? And they keep making me send them PC specs. I'm like, what difference does that make, whether it's on your list of supported games or not? It's not listed anymore. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. I mean, if we go over to here and I'll show you. Hang on, let me so Intel APO, look, this is the latest. Overview, and if we scroll down to what games are supported, list of games, right? So if we that last reviewed 15. So the original article from which had Fortnite in was the 10th of the 10th. So 5 days later they changed it. So if I do a control refresh now, that's still to get rid of cache. That's still the 15th, and Fortnite is gone. No more Fortnite. But the weird thing is some of the new ones aren't, as I say, on the drivers that the motherboard manufacturer is responsible for. So they need to come up with new MSI or whoever your motherboard is drivers for APO for the new games to appear. And then we've still got to work out where on earth Fortnite's gone. So yeah, it's all a bit of a mess. Hey, Elson, you're up late, mate. Or very early. We've just been testing some, Shadow Play, whether it made a difference, and it doesn't. And we've just tested running Fortnite as high priority or normal priority. This is actually normal priority, this one. And you get a few more with high priority, but I've tested high priority on Ship's PC and Rapper's PC, and they both had issues. Ship had a crash, Rapper got some FPS drops. So seems to be, depending on your system, whether high priority is actually better to run Fortnite on or not. Yeah, it does if you use Processor Sue, mate. So if you use Processor Sue, even the free version, you download it, you go and find you open Fortnite up, you find the Fortnite process, which is this one, which is using up all the CPU. Look. You right click it, CPU priority, and you do high, and then you do a force by registry, Windows registry, and then you restart the game. It will bypass the easy anti-cheat, and you'll be running as high. But if you do this, make sure that you're on the lookout for any big FPS drops or any crashes. Because if it is crashing or giving you FPS drops, just go back to none. Just put it back to normal. But yeah, you can get around it now with the latest version of Processor Sue, version 15. Came out a couple of weeks ago. Useful, that one. But I mean, I've been running high and I've had no problems at all. And as I say, you get a bit more FPS. So anything else we can test while we're here, while people are on? Anybody else want to see anything? Yeah, something else has been bugging me actually. I'm going to turn on, people keep asking me this, I'm going to turn on, I'm going to put view distance to medium. Not high, not epic, medium. I'll show you the difference it makes. Yeah, fine test, right. So let's go back to the beginning. Run this test. I'll show you. Wait, why am I only getting 95 FPS? There we go. What was that? That was weird. Go. My TV's nuts.
Capture
Yeah, my
started.
PC's nuts. Yeah, it's a nice PC. We like the PC. It's shiny too. I've gone back to just having all LEDs running at the moment, apart from the memory when I'm benchmarking. Just because I've found that, yes, turning off RGB does actually lower latency, but what it also does is means you've got to run some drivers for turning off the RGB, which add latency. So it's actually better just uninstalling all the app that controls the LEDs in the first place. So I just took it all off. Yeah, the only way you're getting more FPS than me is if you're running an AMD X3D CPU. The only way you're getting more FPS than me. I've got as much cooling as I can get, and I've got the fastest Intel processor you can get. Thanks, guy. Yeah, if you do exclamation mark PC, you see all the specs. You heard, yeah, it's coming out very soon. That's going to be a monster. That's going to be a total monster. If you're buying a gaming PC right now, basically that's the only thing you should be looking at. Intel have just lost the plot. They're not interested in gaming PCs at all. Yeah, I mean, a 7800 X3D will beat my 14900 KS. Does, because we share replays on my stream, and we can compare the different hardware on the same replay. Right, so this is medium. Right, come on. This is medium view distance. Yeah. And it was previously low. Oh. So we see the difference. We're losing FPS. If we go epic, it's even worse. Loads of people do epic. The more you increase that view distance, the worse your FPS will get. It does make a big difference. It makes more of a difference than textures. You can whack your textures up, and often you'll actually get better FPS. Yeah. Win with non-games, absolutely. It'll kick everything else's butt. But yeah, for gaming, for certainly, because all that L3 cache. I mean, you can see how much L2 cache I've got. So I've got 36 megabytes of L3 cache. So that's like 4 times faster than DDR5. Even with running it really fast. So an X3D will have 96 L3 cache. Exactly. So that's why they do so well. It's running all that code, all the Fortnite code, the repetitive stuff in the L3 cache, and I've only got 36, so it then spills over to my DDR5, which is then a lot slower, which is why you get less FPS. I will have lower latency though, because I'm running at 5.8 gigahertz, so the latency will be lower. But in terms of FPS, yeah, that AMD is kicking my butt. Every time I watch a replay and then go into creative mode, my thought, well, replays do crash a lot. They are bugged. They are bugged replays. What was I going to do? I was going to change it to view distance epic. We go. Let's go full. Let's go full Monty here. View distance and textures epic. The as I say, the textures epic will probably even help your FPS if you're heavily CPU bound. Ready, steady, go. It's the view distance that kills your FPS.
Capture started.
Did you test game mode on 24H2? Game mode? You should, yeah, you should always run game mode on. I've been playing on 24H2 now for 2 months, maybe. Been fine for me. You get a few more FPS. The only test that you get worse performance in is Y-Cruncher for 24H2. I don't know why, but it's about 2 seconds worse performance on the results for Y-Cruncher compared to 23H2. I don't know why. But games got more FPS, latency's about the same. I know they're rolling out 24H2 very slowly at the moment to lots of different for depending on your hardware. Because there's some issues with like Epic Games and what am I thinking? Unreal Engine games, etc. crashing. But I haven't had any issues at all. Yes, I use resizable bar for Fortnite, but you need to know how to actually turn it on because it's not on by default. Even if you turn it on in the BIOS, it's not on in Fortnite, so you have to manually turn it on in Fortnite. And resizable bar does help as well. That thing you should be, yeah, way over. In the main game, in the main map, you'll be getting that. In creative, you'll be getting over about 1400, 1500. 1500, I'd say. Right, this is with high textures and high view distance. High view, no, sorry, epic, wasn't it? Epic view distance, epic textures. And it's a list. Oh, look. See, we've now gone down to 508. So we've dropped 40 FPS nearly. Just by doing that view distance, I'd say. It's not the textures, it's the flipping view distance. So, yeah. If you can, keep your view distance on low. I do. I can't spell view. Ooh, viewy. I can't spell it. Here we go. No, you don't need 1000 hertz most. Right, okay. Let me make this incredibly clear. What you want is something called G-Sync Pulsar. This is what you want, right? Do not need 1000 hertz monitor. You do not need a 480 hertz monitor. You do not need a 500 hertz monitor. What you want is this. You want to wait for this to come out. As soon as this comes out, you'll be able to run your same FPS and it will look 4 times faster. Literally 4 times the motion clarity. Just from the monitor. You don't have to tune your PC at all. So this is what it will look like. So blurry versus Pulsar. This isn't out yet. I am checking daily for this monitor to come out. It's meant to be out somewhere between the 1st of October and the 31st of December. And obviously we're into October already. So this is why I'm checking daily. It's going to be a 27-inch, 1440p, 360 hertz. So this thing will look like you're running 1500 FPS, 1500 FPS, and you're not. No, don't go OLED. You're going to want to wait for this. Honestly, you're going to want to wait for Pulsar to come out. Republic of Gamers are not the only ones that are going to be doing this. They're just going to be the first one to do it. But so they should be coming out. They should be coming out very soon. And I think Acer are working on one as well. Should be coming out. Look, it says fourth quarter of 2024, which is basically the 1st of October to the 31st of December. So I'm desperate for this monitor to come out because that's what I'm going to be getting. Yeah, you get burn-in. I spent $7,000 on a big OLED LG TV years ago, and you get, and even though it's got anti-burn-in technology, the burn-in on it is horrific. I've just wasted basically $7,000. There's no way in hell I'm ever buying another OLED monitor or TV. Ever. I don't care what the grey to grey speeds are and whether it looks a little better. This thing will blow it out of the water. Honestly. So my only concern is for backlight strobing, because it's basically a combination of G-Sync and backlight strobing Pulsar. Backlight strobing, ULMB, has really bad latency. So if they fix the latency issue with this, it's literally going to be the only tech that any esport gamers should be using on a monitor. Because you don't have to overclock you don't have to get better hardware for your PC. You just plug in your monitor and it looks 4 times better. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, and it's built, but the fact that it's got the NVIDIA Reflex Latency Analyzer chip built into this indicates to me that they have been actively looking at latency and testing latency with it. So if it has a lot worse latency, I think they'd be hiding it, frankly, and they wouldn't have built in the end-to-end latency testing chip. So I'm hopeful that it's not a lot worse latency. Yeah, but again, the OLED response times is grey to grey. It's not the response time of the monitor. So when you measure latency, right, you've got the latency of the input device, so the mouse or the controller. Then you've got the latency of the PC, and then you've got the latency of the monitor. And the grey to grey time is not just the only bit of the latency of the monitor. It's kind of the response time of the entire monitor. My monitor, this 360 Alienware, is about 3 milliseconds, but the grey to grey time is 0.5. So all this marketing stuff about OLED, oh, the grey to grey is 0.0, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what are you reducing? 0.5 down to 0.005? Ooh, you've saved 0.5. The end-to-end bit of the monitor is like 3. That's the lion chunk of it. That's the bit that you need to kind of reduce. Three-year burn-in warranties. But I mean, the thing is, it's going to burn in because what you've got on like Fortnite and other things is you've got like these bars with health bars that literally sit there for 10 hours a day. You can't tell me that that's doing pixel shifting with a completely blue bar or a completely green bar sitting there for 14 hours a day every day. It's going to get burning. I'm very against OLED monitors. I've been burnt there. I'm not going there again. What is the display port? What do you mean, what is the display? Wait, there's more questions. Hang on. I have NVIDIA G-Sync laser printed on my monitor and it doesn't show up to turn on. It should do. If you go into the NVIDIA control panel, it should do. Unless you turn it off on the physical monitor in the menu, it should. If you go into here, it should give you the option for G-Sync. It should have like a G-Sync page. You're saying it doesn't do that? Yeah, you need to be using a DisplayPort. It's a different end cable. So they look different. So DisplayPort will look like that. Will look like, it'll have like a button that you press in. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of, give it that. Kind of got a little weird angle bit on it. That's a DisplayPort cable. You'll be able to get higher bandwidth through the cable, and you'll be able to get the full 360 hertz and G-Sync. Whereas HDMI looks a bit different. It's kind of that shape. It has kind of a blah blah blah, and this side the same. Whereas the DisplayPort is kind of solid on one side and has a cross bit on the other. I mean, there is a website for looking at monitors and seeing what their actual latency is. I can't remember what it is though. And they test everything. Frithy had it the other day in one of his videos. What was it? I can't remember. It's like a review thing for monitors. But there's no, from my measurements of end-to-end latency, there's no impact in running G-Sync. If you set it up properly. Do I need to restart to activate G-Sync? No, it should just automatically kick in. It should be in the monitor menu. If you've got G-Sync, you should be able to make sure it's on. And then it should detect it in here. You might need to reboot, but I don't think so. And you should, in this section, have monitor technology, and you should see G-Sync. I mean, I have to like turn on ULMB, which is backlight strobing, and in the monitor menu, and then I see it in here. But yeah, so it's probably depending on your monitor. I don't run G-Sync at all because my FPS barely drops. There's no point. G-Sync is perfect for if you've got big FPS drops up and down, and then it matches the hertz of the monitor to your FPS, so it kind of goes in sync and looks nice and smooth. But when I'm playing a game, it's 360 FPS all the time, so I don't run it. I just run fix refresh. Especially if you have two monitors. If you have two monitors, G-Sync can cause some issues, especially if you, where's it? Advanced display settings. So I've got my gaming monitor and I've got a capture card, an Elgato capture card, yeah. So right now this is running 240. It shouldn't be. It should be running 60. But if I run 240, I won't, with G-Sync, I won't get any latency spikes. If I run, my main monitor is 360 and the Elgato, the second monitor, is 60, there's such a disparity that you end up getting latency spikes on the 360 monitor with G-Sync running. So to fix that, you just use the fix refresh, and then you can run both and you don't have to worry about the G-Sync latency spikes. I think the latest drivers actually help with that, because I'm having to run old drivers for this environment so I can run the NVIDIA Reflex Latency Analyzer because it's broken on newer drivers. So I'm running 552.22 or something. 551. Oh, I've got to go back again. I should be running 551. This keeps updating with Windows, driving me nuts. Every time I run a Windows update, it updates this, which breaks then my NVIDIA Reflex Latency Analyzer testing setup. But yeah, So ideally, second monitors you want to be running as slow as possible. Your main monitor you want to be running as fast as possible. But if you're running G-Sync and there's too big a difference between them, then you can get G-Sync issues. So normally I suggest fix refresh for that. That all makes sense. So I've just turned down that second monitor to 60 Hertz. So I'll actually get better benchmark results now. Have I tested on different? Different frequencies. Maybe not on this environment. Maybe it was on a different environment. That's an old one. G-Sync and V-Sync. G-Sync and V-Sync Unlimited. Eesh, V-Sync's horrible. Get worse FPS. It's not as smooth. And the latency's doubled. I mean, V-Sync's all kinds of horrible. You don't want to touch that thing. Anyway. Right, are we all bored? I think we're all bored. I think I might just run some games quick before lunch. I need to go, as my wife gets back with a butcher's load of meat. I'm going to put a nice juicy steak on for lunch, so I'm probably going to run one or two more. Right, let's run a game, shall we? I think we're done here. That's so annoying about Windows updates, updating my driver when I don't want it to. Really annoying, that. Bum, 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 bum. Right, 24H2. Let's boot into that environment. Okay. Yeah, I find I need Bitsum with my CPU. If what happens is, if I run Bitsum, see, nothing parks. Yeah. If I run Ultimate, even though I'm telling it in Ultimate not to park, watch what happens in a minute. Some of these will start going grey. It's starting up at the moment, so it probably won't park them. But once we settle down a bit, in a minute or so, that will start parking cores. Well, unless they fixed it. If I fixed it, I'm going to wait a minute. Ooh, if I fixed it, that'll be interesting. But I find running the latest Intel CPUs, ultimate performance parks cores when you don't want it to. And the only way around that is the Bitsum one. But this is interesting that hasn't parked any of the cores yet. No, there it goes. There it goes. So yeah, we're running ultimate performance, and look, they've all gone grey. Parking cores. And I don't want it to park cores. I'm telling it in the power plan not to park cores. It's still doing it. The only one that it doesn't park cores is Bitsum for my CPU. And I'm running disable idle as well, so they're all running 100%, even though they're not 100%. But prove they're not running at 100% too. Process Explorer. If I run that, I'll have a look at this. There we go. There's the true CPU usage. And I can show per graph as well. Right. So that's what Process Explorer thinks it's, sorry, Processor Sue thinks. That's what Task Manager thinks it's running at 100%, but in reality, it's not. It's running, right. It's running that one. All right, that one. That's hardly doing anything. So this is just a visual bug. How do you run disable idle? In my guide, Enzo, but I'll show you quickly. I'm nice like that. You go to my tuning pack, you go to Windows, you go Power Plans, and you use Process Explorer, Power Settings Explorer. Run that as administrator. All right, I'm going to make this a bit smaller so you guys can see. There we go. All right. Right, so we scroll down until we find processor idle disable, and then you just choose the power plan that you want to disable idle on. That will reduce latency, but it will increase temperatures quite a bit of your CPU. So only use it if you've got really, really good cooling. Disable idle, that bit some. So if I wanted to do it, say in Ultimate, you just do that. Click on the line and then click apply. I wonder if I disabled idle on Ultimate, whether that would then park. We have a look. Might not park if we disable idle on Ultimate. Have a look. Might not park. Because it might think, oh, everything's in C0 state. Not parking that. Well, that'd be interesting. I never actually tested that before. Curious what the background latency is. That's a bit higher than normal. 0.55. I'm normally about 0.48 here. That's a bit higher, but we are running Task Manager. Are we running anything else we shouldn't be? Process Explorer. There we go. Turn that off. Maybe that was the reason it's a bit higher. Oh. No, that didn't really make much difference. 0.54. Let's go back to Bitsum. And then run it again. Well, that's about the same as well. Probably need a reboot. It's a teeny bit lower on Bitsum. That's interesting. I don't know whether sticking on disable idle for Ultimate Performance Power Plan actually fixes the issue with it them not parking all the time. Yeah, I don't like the visual bug, so I enable idle to avoid it. Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying. I'll give you that. It does decrease latency. I thought you disable idle on game processes via Processor Sue more. Now you do it on the power plan. You don't do it on the in Processor Sue. So on a power plan basis. That doesn't seem to be parking, which is interesting. So I may have found a way around it. Well, I'm actually quite interested whether Ultimate's going to be better performance. Because on my old CPU, my i9-900KF, my old one, Ultimate was better latency and better FPS than Bitsum. That's a good point. Are we doing performance time check interval? Oh, they've done it for both those. 5,000 on both. Okay, so that's a fair test in which case. That's interesting though. I might test that at some point. See whether Ultimate is now better. But yeah, Processor Suit's good at auto switching between the power profiles. So I normally run when I'm on the desktop, I'm normally running balanced because I mean look what it does to my my CPU. Let me we're on hardware info for a sec. Yeah, I'm trying to make my CPU live longer. So you can see here that over. Balance is parking a load of cores, and it's downclocking the core clocks. And so when it downclocks the cores, it's wait for these to go down a little bit. So it's going down to 0.7 volts. So by me running balanced on the desktop, and then it kicks in for the game for Bitsum or Ultimate, I'm basically prolonging the lifespan of my CPU. Because I'm right now, when I'm not doing anything, it's running only at 0.74 volts, and we're running at like 40 degrees centigrade. That 34s here. So I'm prolonging the lifespan of my CPU when I'm on desktop, and then when you start up a game, it auto kicks into performance mode, and then it will go straight to the better power plan. And that's why another reason why I love Processor Suite so much. This manages all your power plans for you. All right. Anything else? Anything else? I don't think so. These are nice and cool right now. 29 degrees. We like that. Sitting on the dock of the bay. You know what? I might stretch this out a bit until the missus gets back. What time is it? Should we do that? Should we test Ultimate quick? We'll do that because I'm really starving for my steak lunch, but she's not back yet. So instead of starting a game, let's do a little bit more testing. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Go back to the test environment. Hell yeah. See, why is this pausing for 60 seconds before it loads in? Why? I can't work it out. Honestly, can't work it out. Startup analyzers don't show what it's doing right now. I almost need a little window up of which driver it's trying to load. I think I reset my BIOS, which changed the number of cores back to 16 for E-cores and back to hyperthreading on, and I accidentally loaded into this. And then Windows tries to do a licensing check based on the hardware specs. And it's going from, wait a minute, you were running 8 P cores and 8 E cores before. You're now running 16 and 16. Are you sure you've got a license for this? And then it kind of gets stuck for dead on 60 seconds. And then it's fine. Absolutely responsive now. So whatever it's pausing for 60 seconds for, I think it's going out to the internet. I think it's asking Microsoft licensing whether this hardware has got a correct Windows license key for the hardware, and it has a match saying this many cores for this license kind of thing. And if you kind of load into it with the wrong number of cores enabled, then it can mess up the licensing. Because I've had a situation where I've had to manually put in a load of codes, ring up Microsoft, say, look, I've got a license for this operating system. And you have to put in a load of codes and then it overrides it. So yeah, it's really annoying that. Basically just adds a minute to everything starting up. But then everything's really responsive now. Once it gets past that minute, everything's fine. No, I've Googled, I've chat GPT'd, I've done everything. I've gone everywhere. I just don't know what it's doing yet. I've done tons of research. I've run really complicated, really detailed startup analyzer software by Microsoft to see where the time is being spent, and it honestly can't find. It doesn't say this thing is causing this. No, I don't think you can do that. I think it's associated with the motherboard and the CPU specs. So I don't know. Anyway, it's not happening on my other two environments. So I've got 3 environments on this, 3 Windows installs. I've got a 23H2, another 23H2 for testing, which is this one, and a 24H2. And at some point, all of them have had this issue, but then if I reinstall, it goes away and then it's fine. This has just come back for the test environment. And so the only way I know of fixing this is to reinstall Windows. But I don't want to do that. I'd rather just put up with it at the moment. The other 2 are fine still. So it's not a BIOS thing because it would affect the other 2. But so I don't know. I honestly don't know. Anyway, let's do the power plan thing on this one. Where's my folder? So we need about power plans. That's administrator. We need to set these 2 processor idle disable, and so we're going to disable idle on both ultimate and ultimate and Bitsum are both disabled now, and we need to make sure these are both the same as well. Processor performance time check interval, we need to make sure that that's the same for both 2. Yep. Apply. Okay, so even test bed. Close those. All right, now we are on balance, but as soon as we log into Fortnite, we should be on. We should be on Bitsum. So we just need to test the ultimate one, and I've already done. Well, what should we do? I think we should be fair and run them back to back. Otherwise, it's not going to be. It'll be a fair test. It's been a while between when we run the last test. I also want to put everything back to low because remember we put everything to epic. It's interesting to see whether that disable idle gets rid of core parking. Tiny avenue I haven't explored before. All right, come on, Fortnite, load up. Career, replays, bench, play, confirm. Right. Oh, this has been nearly an hour. Right, gameplay, pause, T for time. 1-1-1-1, bung that in. Right, we're going to change those epic things, get rid of those. Change these back to near and near. Near and low, apply that. Right, on your marks, get set, go. Bitsum.
Capture started.
It's only a 2-minute. I've only got it set for 2 minutes, so these should be quite quick. So after we've done this, I'm going to grab my lunch and then I'll be back on after lunch for some games. Probably some rapper sub games actually. I can't do ship sub games anymore. I'm not sitting in the stupid queue. Not doing it. So I've stopped doing ship sub games. Wait, it's the missus back. Yay! Who's back? Right, we'll run this test and then I'm gonna get some food. Yeah, food's here. Gotta be quick, gotta be quick. Right, 17 seconds for the bit sum, and then we'll run the ultimate one. Food. Yeah, I've got ribeye steak for lunch. Ribeye steak.
Capture finished.
Right, let's go. T for time. Rewind it. Go. Change the power plant. Go, 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 go. Change the power plant. Change the power plant. Ultimate. Yep. We got turkey. Nice. Ready, steady, go.
Capture started.
Wagyu. Not Wagyu. I'm never going to spend like $100 on a Wagyu steak. I don't care how melt in the mouth delicious it is. I like regular steak plenty. I'm not spending $100 plus on some Wagyu. The thing with me with steak is the more the better as well. I'd rather have a huge steak that's not quite so good than a tiny steak that's delicious. Give me a lot of steak, please. I don't know what that was then, so but that's blank. Oh, you're laughing. Steak. Steak's got a bad rep. I know it's red meat, but it's so good for you. Same with eggs. Eggs and steak are basically so packed with nutrients. They're about the most nutrient-dense meal you could have if you have eggs and steak. Obviously not all the time. No, I'm going to immediately make some food, Mike. So I'll be back in about an hour, mate. I mean, it's 1:15 and we haven't had breakfast yet. So I need to sort that out. So 15 seconds before we know the result of this. We'll compare them and then I'll disappear off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Capture finished.
Capture is finished. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm actually quite excited to find out whether there's a difference here. So, and bomb. It's ultimate comparison. Go. Here we go. Bitsum's the winner. An extra 6.9. An extra 6.9 FPS and a little bit smoother. So lower the number here. Standard deviation, the smaller the FPS were going up and down. So better, lower number there is better. So yeah, Bitsum still for the win. Interesting to see if there's doing anything there. This is Bitsum actually pulling a little bit more power. Look, and but the temperatures were higher on the ultimate. Well, that's interesting. The temperatures were higher on the ultimate, even though the power was lower. Oh no, wait, that's why. Look, it's not peaking up the power there. Yeah, it's high temperatures because it's pulling more power on the max. Right, so the answer to that is stick with Bitsum, people. I'm going to go and eat. I'll see you guys.